Alrighty, guys, welcome to Zero Side Digester. Hope all is going well with you all out there today. So, as you can see, we have fire in the lake. Insurgency in Vietnam. This is Coin Series Volume number 4. We have played Cuba Libre, we played A Distant Plane, we played Colonial's Highlight, we played 80 and Abyss, and finally wanted to try out Fire in the Lake with the TRUNG bot that I purchased from GMT. So for those of you who don't know, the TRUNG bot is a set of rules and instructions that you can order separately for the game. It actually has little cards that come in it, and what you're going to do is shuffle these up, and then when it comes to a certain player, certain faction's turn, you're going to go through the deck until you find one of them, and then you're going to just flowchart, follow along with what is going on. It'll ask you certain questions, and you either look for another card, flip this card over, or follow the directions on it. The game does come with, without the TRUNG bot, it does come with regular flowcharts, like most of the Coin Series games, on following along with what the AI wants to do. And it's super helpful and super good, but this kind of, I guess, streamlines it. So I wanted to try this out and see how well, if you've watched some of my other playthroughs with the coin system and some of the aggravation I get from trying to run the AI. And I thought it'd be kind of interesting to try it with this system now, because I think this system is really good, but I wanted to try it out and see what it does. Has a bunch of, so as I mentioned, this comes in the actual game as well. This is kind of a helper sheet for all the different factions. Then the AI for all the different factions, kind of flowcharts, all of them. Those come with the base game. What you get with the TRUNG bot is you get the rules of play, you get the reference booklet, you're going to get your events instruction booklet, and your coup round instructions, kind of some detailed information about the different events, and then of course your play a chart, which will give you what the factions feel about the different events, whether they'll be effective or not, piece priorities, when they have to remove enemy pieces, what the priority is for that, and of course charts on all kinds of different, when you want to, when you're placing bases, you're just going to follow from the top to the bottom, and you're going to look at the first little dot and see if that comes into play. If it doesn't, you go down to the next dot, and the next one, and this one. So this kind of helps streamline where the enemy is going to place all their bases, or when they're placing pieces and bases and attacking enemies, what they're going to do. And this will give you move priorities when they have to move units, what kind of move priority they're going to take. And then, of course, an event flowchart in the back here, which has all the different events, and it lists whether or not it's a critical event, a performed event, executing the shaded text, executing the unshaded text, does not execute, and see instruction table. So and then instruction table is over here, event instructions. Some of them will be like a pivotal event unless certain other cards are played or other things are going on. So that is going to be the TRUNG bot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this charts and everything on behind the scenes to kind of keep things going in the game and trying to figure it out. It will, of course, be a slow episode because this is the first time I've used Fire in the Lake. This is the first time I've used the bot. I am pretty familiar with the system. I was actually going to do this on camera with the board and everything, but the problem is, really, to be honest, the board's pretty big and you can't see everything, and all the pieces on the table, and then trying to move it while I've got things going on, and trying to keep track of where all the pieces and the parts are, using my whole desk up. It's just doesn't work really well. So I thought we would use the Vassal module, which is really, really good, actually. As you can see, here is some more of the built-in charts that kind of goes through things, the sequence of play. I've already prepared the decks, and otherwise you can prepare the decks. But it does have some super cool buttons you just click on right here, and it'll automatically, whether you're playing the short, the medium, or the long, or the full version. I guess it's not the long, it's a full version. And this way we can reference everything and kind of let you see what's going on. So I don't expect to get too much done. I'm just going through this kind of slow for you guys out there that might want to see the game. Don't know much about the coin game. Don't know much about this game in particular. Or you don't know much about the TRUNG bot, T-R-U-N-G. I keep calling it TRUNG. I have no idea if that's even pronounced correctly or not. I'm going to go with strong. Strong? Strong. Anywho. It's a pretty good little update. P500 it on GMT website. You can still pick a copy up, I believe. And it's something, if you own Fire in the Lake, to add in to make things a little bit easier if you're playing solo. This is just for solo play. I should mention that. If you have a bunch of friends and you play this with your friends, you won't need the AI bot, and this, of course, you don't have 4 people. If you have 3 people and you want to run an AI bot, then you could get this as well. Of course, like I mentioned, it does come with flowcharts already built into the game. You don't need to order this. This is kind of a streamlined AI system, I guess is the best way to put it, to make things a little easier for those players out there that play solo. I'm going to be playing this as the NVA, the North Vietnam. And that means I'm going to be running the AI for 3 other factions. So let's talk a little bit about the coin game before we get too far into this. For those of you who haven't played coin or anything, the coin stands for counterinsurgency, insurgency. And there's usually between 2 to 4 factions. Most of the coin games have 4 factions, although there are some that have 2 and some that have 3. But most of them have 4 different factions in it. In this game, there are 4 different factions. We have the North Vietnam. These, of course, are going to be all your red units. Then we have the Viet Cong, which are blue units. We have, and of course, these are the insurgents. So they are somewhat friendly towards one another, although they would rather damage the other factions, the counterinsurgency factions. They try to get along because hurting one another doesn't really help them a lot, but they are out for their own benefit. The North Vietnam, if they have a choice, would rather, kind of work with Viet Cong to help hurt the counterinsurgencies. And but they will also try to get their agenda moved up the best they can. So if they have to hurt the Viet Cong, they will do it. And the Viet Cong will do the same. But of course, they would both rather work together, be friendly. And actually, if you're playing with humans, if you have 4 people or whatever, and you're playing with humans, the North Vietnam and Viet Cong can actually share resources or trade. I guess that trade is better, not share. They can trade resources with one another to kind of help the other faction out if they're running low on resources. So again, yeah, they're kind of working towards their own goal, but they're trying to keep the other factions strong as well, because they're kind of working together towards their common goal, but they have different agendas, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Then, of course, you have your counterinsurgency, which is the Republic of Vietnam, which is the ARVN forces, the ARVN, and they are going to be the yellow, and there's actually yellow and orange pieces for them. We'll get into the pieces here in a minute, but these are kind of the government forces of Vietnam. And of course, you have the United States. And again, these two factions work very closely together. They are COIN, counterinsurgency. Hey Kyle, how you doing? Afternoon, I would take you have a physical bot in hand. Well, you just showed up at the wrong time, my friend. We went through this in the beginning. I'm going to be using the TRUNG bot and the charts and all the different cards for the factions. So yes, well, that's what I'm going to be doing, kind of behind the scenes. Of course, we'll flip over to this every once in a while when you guys need to see something going on or I want to show you something, but mostly our focus will be on the Vassal module. So, of course, you have the United States. They are, of course, another counterinsurgency. These two are, again, friendly. And, in fact, again, if you're playing with human people, the United States does not have any resources. When they go to do operations, they will actually use the resources of the Republic of Vietnam. So they're kind of friendly, working together. You can see actually the United States will actually bring in some of the ARVN cubes and work with them, and the ARVN the ARVN will also use the United States pieces as well. So they're very close, very aligned in their goals. They want to, obviously, get rid of the North Vietnam and the Viet Cong, take over everything, and win the game. So, let's talk about how each faction wins the game. So the North, we'll start at the top here. So U.S. victory. So they have a total support plus available U.S. troops and bases exceeds 50. So, coin support will give them points towards their goal, and then available, which is these units that are out of play over here. So what the United States wants to do, or the U.S. wants to do, is they want to get everything under control in the country and then get all their units out once they have control of most of the country, and then that's how they're going to win. So you can see right now their support and available is at 38. They only need to get it to 51 to win for the United States. So again, what they want to try to do is help the ARVN, get a bunch of control, keep the Viet Cong and the NVA out of South Vietnam, and then they want to get their troops out of there and go home, and that's their goal, and that's what they do to win. So hopefully that's what they can do. All right, let's look at the NVA, which is the team we'll be leading here. This is the North Vietnam. So what we have to do is we have to get controlled population plus NVA bases exceeds 18. So we've got to get our forces on the map. We've got to take over territories and put our bases on there. And if we can get up to 18, or I'm sorry, higher than 19. So we need to have 19 or higher, then we can win. And the way we do that, for example, is you can see that this area here, Quingnam, is coin controlled. So if we were to say move in 2 units, you notice that their control of this area has gone away because they have 2 pieces. We have 2 pieces. If we were to put a 3rd piece in there, bloop, it would be NVA controlled. So we would go up in our control. So we want to control as much population as possible, which means getting a lot of pieces out on the map, taking control of different territories, get our bases out there, and just going to move these back. There we go. And that it'll get rid of the little trails for us. There we go. So we want to take control of a lot of population. We want to get some bases out there. You can see here's our pieces over here. And you can see right now we have 4 bases on the map. The territories we're currently owned is Central Laos, Southern Laos, the Parrot's Beak. You can see all these territories, or what they call in this game provinces. This is a province. This would be another province. This here is another province, and they're kind of separated by these lines here. Have a population number with them, which represents approximately 1 million people. So in Southern Laos, not a lot of people living there, so we don't have a lot of people to kind of control over. So we wanted to go to the bigger territories. This one here is worth 2, so if we could take over this territory, we would have obviously a lot of people to control, and so we can get in there and take control of that area. And let's see, let's see if I can. So you can see how it's now NVA control because we have 4 pieces. They only have 3 pieces. So our control would go up by 2. You can see here we're at 6 currently. If I move these back, you see how it goes down to 4. So we always start with 4. We need to get up to 19. So that's our end card play. Thanks. Hello. Why are you being all dumb and jerky? Huh. That's interesting. Why you did that. Maybe I need to... Huh. Not sure why all of a sudden it decided to leave the trails on there. That's interesting, but not a big fan of that. I'm looking to see if there's a way to mark all pieces of the map is not moved. There we go. All right, we can just do it that way. There we go. All right. All right, so that's how we're going to win, is we're going to get our pieces on the map, and then we're going to start invading all of the territories that actually are worth things. We're going to start taking control of them. For the NVA, we don't care about support. We don't care about opposition. All we care about, which we'll talk about here in a minute, but all we care about is getting our units and take over all these territories that are worth a lot of points. You can see down here, Saigon is worth 6. So if we get in here, that's worth 6. But obviously, there's a lot of units there. 2, 4, 6, 8 units. So we'd have to have 9 units get into Saigon to take control of that area. Which we could do. But yeah, it's an effort. All right, so we just have to keep that in mind. That's what our objective is. That is what our goal is. All right, so that was the U.S. That's the NVA. The ARVN. So the ARVN are all about getting control of the population in South Vietnam. They want to get control of everyone, and they want everyone to believe in their cause, and then population plus patronage, exceeds 50. So a coin control population, and so everything with the coin control marker is giving them points towards their goal, and they want to get 51 or higher for the coin control and patronage. So you can see the NVA and the ARVN are in strict opposition. The NVA wants to get control of areas. The ARVN wants to get control of areas. So they obviously both factions can't have control of areas. So one or the other. So the NVA and the ARVN are in. Their goals are aligned exactly opposite. So they will be in conflict most of the mission, if not all of it. And so they want to get their control population plus their patronage to exceed 50. So 51 or higher, and they will win. And then finally, let's talk about the VC. So total opposition plus VC bases exceeds 35. So there is, not only does each province or town have a who controls the area, but it also has how everyone in that area or town feels about the feel about whether they want to support the counterinsurgency or they want to support the NVA or VC. I'm sorry. Hey, Boo Tweezers, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Just going through a little bit of stuff here with the fire in the lake. Looking forward to our little show at 3 o'clock. Don't forget to send me an email about what I need to do to connect to you guys. So looking forward to that at 3 o'clock. Don't forget, go head over to the Blue Tweezers YouTube channel. We're going to be on there with myself and Rough Swordsman, Tony's Board Life, and the Blue Tweezers playing Fields of Fire. And actually, we're going to be playing a mission from Vietnam. Holy cow! It's going to be the day of Vietnam, I guess. So just because you have a bunch of units in that area doesn't mean the people really like you. So I mean, if for example we just moved all these units in here, we could take control of that area. But that doesn't mean that people like us being there. It doesn't mean that the people there want to support us or anything. Right now, the people there are what's considered neutral. So neither side gets the hearts and the minds of the people there. Just because you have more forces there doesn't mean that you have control of the people there. You just have more of your units than the other people do. What you're trying to do with support is get the hearts and the minds of the people to follow your action. And then what you do with that is what the box over here on the left, which is the support. So you can see this territory here, Queen 10, has active opposition times 2. So there are 5 different levels. You have neutral. You have... actually, I don't see any times 1, so I'll have to just do it manually. So you can have passive opposition. You can have it active opposition. You can have it neutral. You can have passive support, or you can have active support. So there's 5 different levels of it, all the way from active support to passive support, and what you get there is a times 1 or times 2, and that's times your population. So this would be worth 2 points to passive support. This would be worth 2 points towards passive opposition, And this would be worth 4 points towards passive opposition. So what the Viet Cong want to do is get total opposition plus their bases to exceed 35. So they want 36, which is right here. So what they want to do is they want to convince people, the Viet Cong, they don't really care about who controls the territory. What they want to do is they want to get the hearts and minds of the people to follow their cause. They want the people to... Oh, I haven't checked my email, so yeah, I'll check it here. Thanks. They want to get the hearts and the minds behind their cause. It doesn't matter if they only have 1 unit there and the Arvin has 20 units there, but if the hearts and the minds of the people believe in them, that's what they're looking for. So they want to adjust these neutral boxes towards their opposition. So they want all the opposition to follow them. You can see a lot of territory down here in the south have already started following their cause. And there's actually a couple more here. And if they can get that up to and including all their bases out, they get points for that. And that's how they're going to win if they can get it up. So right now you can see they're at 27 already. So they have 7 bases out, and then let's count up their support. So they have active opposition, so that's worth 4 points right there. This one is worth 2. So that's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Plus their 7 bases should equal 27, and that's right where they're at. So you can see how they get their 27 points. They just simply add up the value. So active opposition, this territory is worth 2. They multiply that by 2, so this area is worth 4. So they want to get another couple areas like this one here. If they can get this area to follow them up to active opposition, that would be worth another 4 points. And so if they could get Saigon, you can see is now passive support. If they can get this switched over to active opposition, that'd be worth 2 times 6 would be worth 12 points to them. So that's how the Viet Cong are going to win. They want to get the hearts and the minds of the people. It doesn't matter how many units they have in a territory. They would rather just get out there, change the people's hearts and minds to follow them. The Arvin, they want to have control of the territory and get their patronage to exceed 50. The NVA is in direct conflict with the Arvin because they want to have control of the population and get their bases out there. And then the U.S. again, they want to get the coin total support plus available U.S. troops and bases. So they want to get the support of the people. Passive support, passive support, passive support, passive support. They want to get the hearts and the minds of the people to follow the counterinsurgency. So they're in direct conflict with the Viet Cong. So you can see how, when we talked about a little bit ago, these two are kind of working together because they're in direct conflict of these two guys who are trying to work together, which are in direct conflict with these two guys. So, but yet they all have their own agendas and way to win. All right, pieces. Let's talk about pieces. So there is these little round cylinder discs. These are bases. Bases are good when you're trying to bring in units because when you have bases in your territory, it's easier to recruit units and bring more units in the map. So bases are these round cylinders. I believe all the factions have bases, although some of them are not out. You can see the Republic of Vietnam here. The Arvin has a base, but it's not on the map yet. And they actually have 2 other bases in the out-of-play area. So these are bases. Any of these tall cylinders are guerrilla units for the insurgencies, which are the NVA or the VC. These are guerrilla units. They have two different modes. They're either inactive, where you don't see anything, or they're active, and you'll see like a little star on top or a little symbol on top. And that means they're active, and the other factions know about them and can do something about them. When they're kind of inactive, they're very hard to take out. They're very hard to do anything with until they become active. So a lot of times, the forces for the counterinsurgency will move into territories and flip them over to make them active. And then once they're active, then they can start attacking them and getting rid of those units. So being active or inactive. The United States has these tall cylinders as well. But in this game, they are not guerrillas. Don't think of them as guerrilla units. These are their special forces units. So once again, the special forces units can be active or inactive. There's also squares like this here. They normally represent troops, although the Arvin here have troops in the yellow, and then they have police in the orange. So they have troops, they have police. The United States obviously has troops. And actually the NVA will have troops, as you can see here. And they also have guerrilla units as well. Yeah, I think it's kind of important to go through a lot of this stuff to begin with. Just not only for you guys out there that haven't played or haven't seen this game, or don't know much about it, or interested and you want to learn some more. And for myself, to be honest, because like I said, this is the first time I'm playing Fire in the Lake. I played a lot of the other ones. Distant Plain, Cuba Libre, Alien Abyss, Colonial Twilight. This will be the first time I play this one, so, you know, it's always good to go through the information ahead of time for myself, just to make sure I'm on the same page. So what's new in Fire in the Lake compared to some of the other titles? Well, one of the things is, if you play the medium or long campaign, each side has a pivotal event card that they can use to supersede any of the events that come out, although you have to wait until you are eligible to play it. You can see here, you can only play this if there are 2 or more cards in the Arvin leader box and support, plus available, is greater than 40. And then you can see they get a huge boost to their play. Each of the different factions has a card like this, and you can tell. So for our faction, it's the Eastern Offensive. We can only play it if there's 2+ cards in the NVA leader box. And more NVA troops than US troops are on the map. And then we get free marches, then NVA troops on line of control with no US or Arvid may move a space. Then all NVA troops free attack. So you can see, well, it's, you know, the big old Easter push by the NVA. So we can play this card one time during the game when these requirements are fulfilled. Then of course Vietcong have one as well, the Tet Offensive, and the Republic of Vietnam have one as well. I think all of them you have to wait at least 2 cards are 2+ cards are in the RVN leader box. So you might be wondering, what the hell is that? Well, down here at the bottom of the map, there's the RVN leader box. So, um, so there starts with this card in play, and every time we have a coup, which is kind of separating the different. If you played some of the other games in the system, it's kind of their timing mechanism for the new the new. Trying to think of the word I'm trying to best describe it. It's hard to describe. Each of the coin games is broken down into a series of eras, based upon a certain amount of time that you play a certain amount of cards, and then a coup or a one of the other. Oh, I can't think of what the other ones were at this time. But anyways, so it kind of breaks it up. In this game, it's called a coup. Whenever we have a coup, then a new leader is possibly going to come out and replace this guy. Once we have 2 or more leaders in this box, then players can start playing this. So it's going to be a couple years before we can do this. Each of the different coups represents between 1 to 2 years. All right. And the other thing that's new is the trail over here. This will move up and down. The NVA want to move this up as far as possible because a lot of their different abilities will give them a bonus based upon what the trail is. So you can see here under our rally, we can place NVA gorillas up to the trail value plus NVA bases. So the higher the trail value plus the bases, if this is say at 4 plus bases, we could put 5 guys here. If this is at 0, we can only put 1 guy there. So that is the trail. It'll move up and down. The United States can actually bomb it to make it go down, and we, I believe, rally to move it up. So it'll constantly be going up and down. Each side has their own pivotal events. Each coup card, instead of just getting discarded, will replace the leader that's here. I think that's all the information we need to know. Let's get some cards out. So we will draw a card and draw a card. All right, so our first card is going to be Booby Traps. Booby Traps. First faction will be the VC, followed by us, followed by the United States, followed by the Arvin. So up at the top, we'll show you the turn order. Only two factions get to activate during any certain card. Up to 2 units, but everyone could pass if they wanted to. All right, so let's look at the Booby Traps and see that is card number 101, and the VC say that this is critical. It's a C. So if we switch over to our little boop thing like this, you can see here this little chart. This is our event cards. We are looking at event number 101, and it is a critical. So if it's a critical card event, we're going to look at the top or the front of the sheet here. So event is critical and effective. So let's see, what does it do? Boop, 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 boop. Oh, it's a VC capabilities. And let's see if there's any information on. Nope, this is. 101. Nope. No special information there. All right. Just trying to make sure. So the VC, I think, are just going to play this event because it gives him a capability. Mines and Pujin. Each sweep space, VC afterward, removes one sweeping troop on a roll of 1 to 3. And the U.S. goes to casualties. Oh, wow. Each sweep space, the VC afterwards removes one sweeping troop. So when the U.S. or the Republic of Vietnam use their sweep actions, every territory they sweep into, the VC will roll a die and remove one of the sweeping troops on a roll of 1 to 3. If they remove the U.S., it goes to casualties. If they remove an Arvin, it would just go back into their supply pile. So yeah, that's pretty gosh darn good if I say so myself. Oops. Let's see, how do we get... Well, first thing we're going to do is take them and they're going to play the event. We know that. Which kind of sucks for us because it's going to leave us with either... It's going to leave us with... oh, okay, so we didn't actually talk about this box. So this is like the coin box of what you can do during a turn. So if a unit goes here, then the second unit would have to go there. If the unit goes there, the second unit has to go there. And if, come here you, if they go there, then the second unit gets to go there. When they're done activating all their things, then they will go to ineligible, and only these two will get to work on the next event. And then they would, based on whose turn it is to go. And then these guys would come back over and be available. And you kind of go through this little matrix or big round circle. So, if the VC take this, which is the event, which they're going to, that leaves us. Oops, where is the card? You can see on the top, we are the second player to go. If we don't choose to go, we can look at the next card, which is Chinook. The first player to go would be the Arvin. And then we would get to go on this. So that is number 75. And it's the Arvin. Arvin really don't care about this event. If I'm looking at the AI. The AI really don't care about playing that event. So they won't play the event. This is number 75. What does the performed do for us? Performed. So let's see what we would get. VC free rally in any Cambodian space. Then free march from any rally spaces. Then NVA do the same. The VC free rally in any Cambodia space. So, all right, so we have North Vietnam up here, which is just this one territory. Then we have Laos here, which is these two provinces. Then we have Cambodia, which is these 4 territories down at the bottom. Northeast Cambodia, the Fishhook, the Parrot's Beak, and Hokeville. Well, okay. So you have to really decide what we're going to do. Because the first faction went here, we can only take... we could actually take an op and a special activity if we go there. Yeah, I guess it's not too bad. Okay, so let's look at the pieces here. I bet you there is event markers. And that was called, what was it called? Booby Traps. Booby Traps. So we have capability, Booby Traps. There you go. All right, so they did their event. They don't get to do anything else. The VC are done. So now it's up to us, because we're second act. We can either pass and wait till the next card to do something, or we can do whatever this option here. And in that case, it's an op and a special activity. So we will do that. So we haven't really talked about operations and special activities yet. But each side usually has 4 operations, which are the lighter colored ones on the left-hand side. And then they usually have 3 special activities. The special activities on the right-hand side will only work sometimes with some of the operations on the left-hand side. So you can see here, accompanying operation is either a rally or a march. So if we choose an attack, we cannot choose to infiltrate. If we choose a terror, we cannot choose to infiltrate. Bombard will work with any. Ambush will work with only march or attack. And infiltrate will only work with rally or march. All right, so we are going to do a special operations and a special activity. Sorry. You can do them in any order. You can start one and then go switch back and forth. It's very up to you. We are going to do a rally. Because we want to try to get more of our units on the map. We talked about this in the beginning. The way we get control of areas is by moving our troops in. But you can see here we only have 10 resources. Resources are very important. Now, when you're playing with the AI, the other factions don't have resources. Unless you're playing as a human US or a human Arvin player, then you will use the Arvin resources. Otherwise, so the NVA, their resources just kind of go away. And because both the US and the Arvin are both AI, their resources just go away. You just ignore them. It just allows the AI to not have to worry about how many resources they have left, to kind of streamline things for everyone. So we are going to do a rally to get our troops on the map. It says purpose for this is obviously we're going to augment friendly forces and upgrade the trail. 2 good things for us. Any province or city without support. So again, any area without support one way or the other. We can put in, it's going to cost us 1 resource per space, and it's going to cost us 2 resources to improve the trail. We're going to place 1 NVA guerrilla or replace 2 NVA guerrillas with a base. If the NVA base, you may instead place NVA guerrillas up to the trail value plus NVA bases. Then, if desired, pay 2 resources to improve the trail. So what does all that mean? So, for example, let's go to the pawns. So in this, what you call it? In any of the coin systems, they usually have these little white pawns, which represent areas you're going to take your operations are in. And then they have the black pawns, which represent areas you're going to use your special activities in, just to kind of help yourself and your other players know what you're doing, and so you can make sure you're doing everything right. All right, so we can place one NVA gorilla. So if we chose to say spend it here, right, it would cost us one resource. We'd move a resource down. And we would place the number of gorillas, one NVA gorilla. So we would just take one of our gorillas and we would just drag it over there and be done with it. That's a valid what we could do. Is that our best thing we can do? Probably not, because we could also choose one resource, and we can use number of bases plus the trail value. So you can see here the trail value is 1. We have one base, so we can actually put 2 guys in this territory. So we could bring in 2 guys here for the same one resource. So what you normally do before you do anything is you decide which territories you're going to bring units in. You can see we have only 8 more gorillas. We can't bring in troops. This does not say place troops. It says place gorillas. The other thing you can do is actually take 2 of your units and remove them and bring on a base, which is very important for us because remember our winning condition is controlled population plus the number of bases exceeds 18. So if we get more bases on the map, more better. I should mention, I don't think I mentioned this before, but each province or territory or area, whatever you want to call them, or city, can only have 2 bases in them. You don't want to leave your bases undefended. You want to keep them with a lot of different units. So we have we actually have a lot of stuff up here in the north and then a little bit down here in the south. So do we want to... I mean, there is some, right? So again, this is worth 0. So we could try to take over this territory, but it's worth 0 to us. We're not going to get any control. We'll get control of this area, but it'll be worth 0 points, which doesn't do us a lot of good. Looks like the VC are pretty entrenched down here. We could try to help them out. So I think what we might do is, yeah, let's cause some problems down here. We got to get some help down here in the south. So we're gonna put 1 there. We're gonna go 1 there. We're gonna go 1 there. And 1 there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to cost us 4 resources. We started at 10. Don't forget we started at 10. So -4 is down to 6. Oops, come here you. 6. And we're going to get units here. We're going to get, again, if you have an NVA base there, which we do, we're going to get NVA equal to the trail value plus the number of bases. So we have 1 base, we have 1 trail, so we're going to get 2 units there. So 1, 2. Here, same thing, 1, 2. Same thing here, 1, 2, And 1, 2. So we got all of our gorillas. You can see we don't have any gorillas left. All right, so we got all of our gorillas on the map. Then, if desired, pay 2 resources to improve the trail box by 1. Which we're going to do is going to cost us 2 resources. So we can actually just click this twice. It'll automatically move our thing down. So we're already down to 4 resources. We're pretty poor, but we got all of our units out there. We can start taking territory, maybe. All right, don't forget we get a special operation. We could take over VC, add and upgrade NVA forces. All right, if base, place NVA troops up to trail plus bases, and if desired, replace NVA guerrillas with troops, or NVA is less than VC. So take over VC, add or upgrade NVA forces. It'll accompany a rally or march. We could bombard. We could not ambush because we did not do a march or attack. Yeah, that's good. Thanks. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So you must have if you have a base. So 1 or 2 spaces with NVA bases, or the NVA is greater than the VC. So this is the way the NVA can kind of hurt the VC a little bit by just taking over their stuff. What we can do is, if a base, place NVA troops up to the trail plus bases, and, if desired, we can replace NVA guerrillas with troops. Or, if the NVA is greater than the VC, opposition level 1 level towards neutral and replace 1 VC with an NVA. All right, we're going to place some troops into 1 to 2 territories. So we're going to go, I think, here. Maybe down here. Let's get some troops on the map, right? So we get the trail value. If you have a base, place troops up to the trail value plus bases. All right, so and if desired, replace the NVA guerrillas with troops. So you can move. That's the way to get our guerrillas back, is to change them into troops, and then we get our guerrillas back. Okay, got it. All right. So we will get, our trail value is 2 plus 1 base, so we're going to get 3 troops here. 1, 2, 3, and then we're also going to get 3 down at the bottom. So I'm just going to grab 3 more of them. There we go. Sounds like a plan. Just going to move these pawns out of the way for now. And that is 1 turn. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Usually your specs activities doesn't cost anything. Normally only your operations cost you resources. And this is good to do our special activity after because we did get to increase the trail value ahead of time. So it got us more troops on there, which makes sense. You know, our trail value, our trail, our Ho Chi Minh Trail, it's better now, so we can get troops, more troops moving around, easier to move them. So you can see we've increased our allotment here quite a bit. And then, like I said, what we want to do is we want to move into territories and take them over. You can see this is worth 2 points here, right? So if we control it, and there's only one dude in there, right? All we have to do is move 2 guys in there, right? If we move 2 guys in there, poof, we take control of that territory. And we would get 2 more points added to our value here, which I believe is all the way down here on 4. We're going to get that up to 19. All right. So we just got a bunch of units on the map to kind of help out. And I think we are done. So we can end card play. Booby Traps. Oh, it went up there. Then we can draw a card. This Chinook will move over, and then we'll draw a new card, which will be the upcoming card, which is Uncle Ho. Ooh, which would be really good for us because we get to go first. Ooh. VC, then NVA, each execute any 3 free limited operations. It's card number 50. We'll get to first choice on that. Of course, we're helping out the VC as well. Known communists. 4 out of play U.S. troops to South. Okay, let's worry about this one first. So, this is number 75 Chinook. 75, and it's gonna. Oh well, first things first. We gotta fix our thing down here, which I did. Right. Okay. So the U.S. and the Arvin are up. Be Arvin first, and 75, they do not care about this at all. It's a dash. So they are not going to play this event. So let's just see what it is. US or Arvin free sweep into or in any Cambodia spaces. Then free assaults in 1. So they sweep into Cambodia and then free assault in one of these spaces. So they can move their units. Probably not that great an event this early anyways because they don't have a lot of units to be moving around, to be honest. Yeah, you can see they don't even have any units here. They do have a few here in ad hoc, but they could sweep into here where there's no units, so that's not a great. Yeah, I can see why they don't think that's a great play for them. VC free rally in any Cambodia space, then free march from any rally spaces. Then NVA do the same. Wow. Yeah. All right, so I think actually what I'm going to do, file, I'm going to actually save the game, And I'm actually going to take a little lunch break, and then maybe later tonight we'll get back on. This is Fire in the Lake, Part 1. And we'll enter comments. Yeah, we don't need any comments. I just wanted to save the game where it's at so we can pick it up. I don't like to stop in the middle of anything, so we'll pick it up at the beginning of the turn with the US and the Arvin ready to go. We'll have a little lunch. Then this afternoon we got Fire in the, what is it? What the hell is it called? Over at the Boo Tweezers, we're playing, what is it called? Fields of Fire. Something like that, yeah. So hopefully we'll see you over at the Boo Tweezers. So, gosh, brain fart. I'm going to have to wake up before we get together this afternoon. 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hopefully we'll see you guys over there. Otherwise, we'll see you guys later tonight for some more action with Fire in the Lake. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you guys soon.